What's up, guys? Welcome to Devils Talk. I'm Enrique Ledius. So the Devils fell to the Winnipeg Jets. They are now that was a tough loss there, right? I think they've lost their third in a row or something like that. I don't even know, but it feels like we have lost a lot lately, and I feel like we haven't had this kind of a losing streak in a long time. I think the stat line is that it's the first time they've lost two consecutive games in regulation since last season before this game. So they've lost for the third time. And look, before the game, just to quickly kind of go through it, like before the game, I thought the expectations for the Devils was that they needed to play a tight game and they needed to be better team off the puck. Coach Ruff said that in the pregame presser there. They just need to keep games closer, right? I think these games are getting away from the Devils at really bad times. Sometimes it's early in the game. Sometimes it's just a couple quick strike goals, and then the game gets away from them, and then they're playing from behind a lot of the times. I was at the Capitals game, and I saw that, and they have to fight back, right? And that's not always the best place to be. I think this season, I don't know if they've ever really had the lead this season. I'm sure they have. I mean, it was really far and few between. And this game, Akira Schmid got the start. I think he really needed a strong performance. He needed to kind of steal the game going into this and just maintain that calm composure, right? That's what we saw in the playoffs against the Rangers. I think that's one of his big strengths when he's on his game. As you can tell, he's really calm in net. And, that's what we needed from him going into this game. And I think the power play for this game needed to get back on track. Timo, Meier, Tyler Foley, Jesper Bratt, Dawson Mercer, these are guys who, without Hughes and Hischier, these guys need to step up, And the guy that the Devils need to look out for was Kyle Connors. But, going into this game, those were the expectations, and how the game turned out. A bunch of the things that we kind of didn't want to happen, I think, happened. And, starting off, let's just start off with the first period. I think, honestly, the first period was a really good period. Like, that's actually one of the few things that take away from the game. Well, not the few, but one of the main takeaways of the game that was positive. I felt like the first period, Schmidt got off to a really good start. He had a really good save. I think it was around the 16, it was like maybe the 5-minute mark or this early in the first period. Really good save. I think it was a 2-on-1. He makes a save with his right pad, stretches it out. I thought he was really watching the puck well. I thought he was tracking the puck well, at least in the first, and then the second period a little bit. Third period, fortunately, things kind of got away from him, but he was tracking the puck well. He was confident in his movement. I thought he played really well. I felt like we were watching, okay, he's starting to get back in his rhythm again. We're starting to see the old Schmidt, right? He was economical in his movements. He wasn't really letting pucks go through him too much. He made a really good glove save, I thought. At the end of the first period, it's like a 6-minute mark. Devils got the first power play, though, and so that was a chance to maybe get back on the right track power play wise. And they didn't get that much chances. The Jets actually got more, I think, shots and opportunities in that game. And then in terms of defensive play or offensive play, Jets defensively were able to block a good amount of the Devils' chances and shots, but they were still in it. I thought the Devils were still played well. They were still in it. And again, Schmidt looked in control. And I thought, he did a good job. And the Devils also had some good chances. They killed off a penalty, which is great. And I mean, John Marino even had a really good chance at basically an open net, but it kind of, the shot went off of Timo Meier. So overall, in the first period, it was 0-0. Pretty good game, pretty good start. They were in it, and that's one thing the Devils needed to be, was just in the game. And moving on to the second period, the Jets get the first goal on a rebound. Right, it was around the 11:50 mark of the second period. And the Jets really kept sustained pressure in that one, right? And in that play, they kept sustained pressure. Personally, I would have liked to see the Devils forwards apply a little bit more pressure on Kyle Connor there. I mean, that was the guy going into the game. We had to watch out for him, right? You had to watch him. You had to see where he was on a, point streak or whatever, but he was a big threat coming into this game for the Jets. And what happened in the play was that the forwards got a little up high in the zone. And here's the thing, though. Like, I think Kyle Connor circled around. There was just sustained pressure. And so it was kind of hard. The players are tired. Connor was able to kind of sneak in there, and he had the puck, and he just kind of came through. I thought, again, the forwards could have dipped down a little bit, because it looked like he was a little untouched, right? He comes across on the glove side, then comes across, shoots the puck, and then he gets the rebound, and basically he gets his own rebound there. I just thought there could have been a little bit more traffic in the way of the Devils and protecting the house a little bit more. And Schmidt, I mean, you could argue he probably should have deflected that rebound off. The rebound went right off of his pad. That's where every shooters are shooting on goalies like him. Down low on the pad, hoping for a rebound, and they were able to get it. But it's a quick bang bang play by Connor, and that's just an unfortunate thing that they got down 1-0 in the second period, and then Appleton gets another clean chance around the 7-minute mark. He hits the crossbar, and I don't like to see, especially right now with where the Devils are at and where Akira Schmid and Vanecek's confidence is kind of inconsistent a little bit. I don't really like to see teams get such a clean chance on us, right? Or on the Devils. Like, I don't want to see them get a clean chance on the goalies. And that was a really, he could have walked right in there, I think. So maybe just something, tighten it up a little bit. But then the Jets get a second goal at around the 6-minute mark. It was a power play, a penalty kill for the Devils. They couldn't kill it off. And it kind of just tips off a ball stick. And it goes right through like the 7-hole area, like right here from Schmidt. And that's a tough one, right? Like that's, on one hand, right, that's a tip off the stick. I think if you want to give Schmidt a break on that, you can. On the other hand, I get as goalies, like that's one of the things where you kind of want to tighten up your arms there, especially being a big dude like Schmidt. And although I think it kind of caught him at the bad time because he was maybe preparing for a little bit of a different shot, so that's why his arms weren't exactly like flush to his body. But again, it's hard, right? It's hard to the puck is moving so fast, shots are so quick at that level. You can play armchair quarterback. After the fact, hindsight's 2020, 2010 if you have LASIK. But if you look at that goal, it's not a fancy shot by the Jets. It is just a quick shot on net, tip, deflection, unlucky bounce. But the Devils do get a goal at the 5-minute mark. But Timo Meier comes up huge. It's a power play goal, and this is what the Devils needed to do, and I think they have to keep continuing to do. Without Hughes, without Hischier, it's just get shots, right? Get shots from anywhere or get shots from these really good scoring chance areas instead of trying to pass into these areas, right? And if you're lucky enough to have room in the house area, and I keep referring to that house, but it's basically, again, like I don't know if you've seen other videos, but it's that area right in front of the net, right in that front crease area. But then it extends a little further out, maybe to the face-off dots or maybe the inside hash marks of the circles. And it's just like almost like a rectangle or whatever, but it's just like that house, right? In that house area, you always want to make sure that if you have the puck in possession area, that you're able to get some shots off there because that's a really good opportunity to score. But again, it does tip off of the defenseman. And I really like the fact that Timo Meier took the shot from that area and that the play was, him just getting the puck, quick pass and shot, right? There was no looking for that extra pass and looking for that extra clean shot or whatever, right? It was a really just take the puck, shoot it, And I think the Devils could really benefit a lot from doing that. Marino comes up with a game-tying goal at the 3:55 mark of the second, which, again, this is another one of those examples, right? This was not a pretty goal. This was a great goal after the second rebound. Not the first rebound, the second rebound. And you had Hellebuck a little bit swimming there in his net, just because there were a couple of chances there, and it kind of tips off the defenseman, I think. And I'm sorry, no, that didn't tip off. It was a messy rebound play. But again, like I want to see the Devils do more of that. I think shoot the puck first and keep getting pucks on net, and then crash the net for these rebound garbage goal type plays, instead of just always trying to pass it. And I think they've done less of the passing over the past couple games, and I like that, just because, again, they don't have that skill level. As good as, Jesper Bratt can be, and Mercer's getting there, Toffoli's a good playmaker, you got good playmakers, right? But I think when you don't have Jack Hughes, you don't have Hischier, your offense identity changes. And this team is not built to be this pretty bang play without Hughes or Hischier, in my opinion, right? And I feel like they just got to get more shots on net, use their physicality, their bodies to position themselves in front of the net, and then just try to get more just wax at the puck, more rebounds, more second, third, fourth rebound chances and everything, and just crash that net, and also get contribution from the D chipping, coming in down because John Marino got this goal, right? So he came in, grid awareness by him to kind of, pinch a little bit, get that rebound shot and get a goal. So that was huge for the Devils. Now they tied up. Now the game looks like, okay, wait a minute. We got our momentum now. Looks like we can get on a roll. They can survive right now. They're surviving a game without Hughes and Heischer. It's actually it's a pretty even game, I thought, at that point. But then this one, I think the Ehlers goal, a bit of a killer. 150 left in the second. It's so tough to let in a goal this late, right? Ehlers kind of sneaks behind the D-men, and this play was tough where the D-men, I think it was Hamilton, they kind of lose sight. He lost sight of him behind the play, and he just kind of sneaks in right behind. I mean, Akira at that point, I don't know if he really has a shot at that because no one saw him. The D-men didn't see him. I don't think Akira saw him. So that was just, you got to give credit, honestly, to the Jets and Ehlers for just a great play by them and how they got that goal. But again, it's just, you would like to see more awareness. And I think part of the reason why there was maybe a lack of defensive awareness was because of the new D pairings, right? Ruff kind of changed up the lines a little bit. So that could have had a factor in it too, right? But hopefully they'll get back on track. And after watching some film and kind of communicating from this game until the next game until they play the Penguins, hopefully they can, get that communication back on track. And then in the third period, this is where I think the wheels kind of started to fall off, right? Eric Holla had a great chance at that 17:50 mark. It was good to see a bit of that odd man opportunity chance from Lazar and Holla in that line. And I think, we're going to need more from Lazar and Holla for sure. Just generating those chances, right? Just that third, fourth line presence. And I kind of miss now the days of having Woodsy back here because he had the speed. He would, he would sometimes bounce between, I think, the fourth line, third line or whatever. But he just provided a lot of chances, right? And we needed depth play and depth contribution from our team. But so hopefully we can get more chances from them. And I thought this game, it was another close game. Again, the game was close up until I thought the 12:40 mark. And this is where, Brendan Smith lays a big hit on Nemestikov. Ehlers stands up for Nemestikov. This one was interesting because I agree with Spalding, with Bill on the broadcast. This wasn't supposed to be a penalty on Brendan Smith. But once Ehlers started to instigate the fight, number one, he didn't get an instigator penalty. And then number two, they kind of went back and were like, actually, wait a minute. Brendan Smith is going to get a penalty for something. I think it was fighting or boarding or whatever it was. And all of a sudden that penalty was called. And now it's I thought what could have just been an instigator penalty, Devils on a power play, I think, it turns into a whole different thing. And then Jets get a penalty, or Jets get a power play, Devils get a penalty. And around the 10-minute mark, the Jets get a power play goal. And this is another one of those things too, where it's just unfortunate bounce. Siegs loses an edge here, and then, but if you notice in that play, Siegenthaler loses an edge, puck, and then he drifts to one side of the ice, right? So now you have on that top glove side circle, you had, I forgot who the guy was scoring. Oh, Kyle Connor, of course. He was in the top glove side, and then he passed right to him, and he just open net. I mean, not open net, but open chance there, a really high quality scoring chance, one timer. And maybe you would like to see Schmid make a save there, but that's a pretty tough ask, right? He's right there. It's Kyle Connor, a great player, good opportunity for him. So that's a bit of a tough thing. And then Jets get a fifth goal at the 8-minute mark. I mean, Ball just gives up that puck. That can't happen. But I think more important than this one, I will say, out of all the goals that I was disappointed, out of all the goals, I was most disappointed in this one. It could have been a 4-3 game, pull the goalie, tie it up, but Schmid cannot let this one go in, right? He's in the RVH. Yeah, he's huge. He has to steal that post, or maybe goes to his 5-hole, whatever it is. Yeah, this is the kind of saves that a goalie like him is expected to make. You have to make these saves, I think. It just bleeds into maybe he's not as confident as he was, in the playoffs as he was in the playoffs last year. And I don't think this helps his confidence in terms of just him relying on his technique to make the saves. But hopefully he just puts it past and behind him. But yeah, this one was a killer. I thought that's a save he needed to make for sure. But overall, this game, I felt like Devils needs to still play a complete game. They'd have to avoid lapses in every aspect of their game, right? The goalie can't have a lapse, first 2 minutes of the game or first 5 minutes of the game or last 7 minutes of the game. The defense can't just like give up the puck, end of the second period or, like when Siegenthaler just drifted away to one side on a penalty kill, misses coverage. The offense right now, like they're kind of surviving a little bit, right? But then there's some plays like in the Capitals game, non-existent, no chances, too much passing, off-angle shots. Like there was no rhythm, there was no real threat, credible threat to the other team, right? So the Devils just have to be able to put it all together for a complete game of hockey, for the first time this season. I don't think they've really done it for the first time this season, right? And I agree with Dano on the broadcast, like they have to keep pucks out of the net a priority. At this point, it doesn't matter like, hey, our goaltending is not as good, then so be it, right? Goaltending is not as good. Our defense is young, whatever, so be it. Like, but there has to be a commitment here and there has to be a priority to say, okay, our team is struggling. Let's not be careless in the defensive zone. Let's make sure we have head on a swivel. Like these little basic things. And it's easy for me, any one of us fans sitting on the couch to say or look back on and look at the film and go like, oh, okay, yeah, he clearly missed his coverage. It's harder in a game for sure. It's harder when you're in play and all that. But like there just has to be something done in order to avoid getting like playing from behind all the time, right? Getting scored on early and often, So that's just one of those things where, it has to improve, right? And I thought overall, again, I thought Schmid had a great first period, a pretty good second period, but I felt like they needed him to come up big in the third, and I didn't think he did. Honestly, I didn't think he came up as big as they needed him to be, as they needed him to be in the third period. I personally think Vanacek gets the start against the Penguins. If he plays somewhat well, even decently well, I think he gets the start again in the game after that. But I think Schmidt's just in a place where he's still trying to find his confidence, and I personally, like, I'm a huge fan of Akira Schmid. It's so disappointing to see like how this is panned out. And I think some of the goals, and not just this game, the other game, product of bad defensive play. And then it puts him in a position where he lets in probably a softie or whatever. So yeah, it's tough. And I think defensively though, they had some trouble in this game, but like I said a while ago, it could be due to the new defensive pairings and line switching and all that stuff. So hopefully they get it a little bit tightened up and squared away, because they're playing a Pittsburgh team coming up next that is very dangerous. They are on the NHL leading winning streak of like 5 games right now. So Crosby just came off of a hat trick, so that's going to be a tough one to escape if they can't get their shit together, right? So yeah, hopefully they do better. And like this game was it was close. They were close to playing a full 60 minutes. They were in it for most of it, and then just like that, after one shift, it kind of all goes away. So a little unfortunate, tough loss, but hopefully they can turn around against the Penguins.